Hi guys, Vivian's here, postcard from Cebu. I love you, babe.
Mocking and racism in the Philippines. A subscriber contacted me and asked me to make a video on this subject, and sent me a link to another video which I'd actually already seen by a woman named Elayne, a British woman, describing how she was verbally abused and mocked in El Nido, which is Palawan, which is kind of southwest a little bit of Manila. Actually, that chain of islands borders the South China Sea on the west, and on the east the Sulu Sea. That place is on my bucket list. I really want to visit there myself, and one of these next trips I will do just that. But anyway, Elayne is a black woman, I presume of African descent. She's very big, and she was basically saying she's never coming back to the Philippines because they called her a big black fat monkey and things like this, and which I actually found to be kind of strange, because usually Filipinos are not confrontational like that. It's really hard to determine the context and the situation from her video, and a lot of Filipinos have made videos in response to that, apologizing for that kind of behavior. I'm really not sure what happened there, but I can tell you that first of all, in Filipino culture, they're going to say what they see. I mean, they're just going to blurt it out. I'll give you a couple of examples. One is as you guys may know, I have 2 children from a previous marriage, and Vivian has 3 children from a previous marriage. So together we have 5. I have a son and a daughter. My youngest is 22 years old, and my daughter is 26, coming up on 27 now. Anyway, I don't get to see my daughter very much. She's was an Asian studies major. She and her husband had lived in China for a couple of years, teaching English, and now they're at Ohio State University doing their postgraduate studies. And every once in a while, my daughter will pop home and come in to see me. And she happened to do that one time while I was chatting with Vivian on Facebook Messenger. We were talking, which we do twice a day. We almost every day we talk twice a day. But anyway, while Alyssa came in, and then Vivian was chatting with her, and it just came out of Vivian's mouth, "Oh, you've gained some weight, you're getting bigger." And later Vivian and I were talking about that, and I said, "Yeah, I noticed, but I didn't say anything." Because in our culture, in American Western culture, it's not polite to talk about somebody being overweight. So people are sensitive about that issue. But in the Philippines, it's fairly common. They'll just blurt it out. I also remember a woman telling me she lived in the Philippines for a little while, and she and her husband are both white Americans. And the Philippines are kind of fixated on whiteness. I mean, they sell skin lightening creams. You'll see ads on TV for it. Even Vivian was using skin lightening creams to make her skin lighter, until I told her that I actually love her brown skin, and that's one of the reasons I fell for her. One of the reasons I was attracted to her was that beautiful brown skin. But anyway, the point is, this woman was relating to me that, yeah, Filipinos would, come up and be touching the face of her children, and at first she was kind of alarmed by it, but then she realized that it was just part of culture. They were fascinated by the fact that these white kids were here in the Philippines, and they could see them up close and touch them and all this kind of stuff. So it is a fairly common cultural difference, if you will, for Filipinos to just blurt out what's on their mind, and that happens. Fat versus thin, once again, that's just an observation. Like I said, when Vivian was talking to my daughter, there's also the influence of the media that comes to play. In the media, especially Filipino media, almost all the actors are very fair-skinned and thin and very gorgeous, both the guys and the girls, and and that's true in the West as well. As a matter of fact, there was a rapper. I'm not sure if it was Kanye West or somebody else that just did a fashion line. He got into the fashion world, and they just did the thing in New York last week or a week before, something like that. And he was called out for asking for black models. This racist term gets thrown around so much, and there is racism in the world. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put another link in the description section to another video of a guy, black, sounded like he was an American guy, but said something in his video, something on his channel about him being from Nigeria or someplace like that. But anyway, he had very fluent English and very American accent. Was talking about, I mean, there's racism everywhere. I mean, there really is. And my own family made racist comments to me about dating and marrying a Filipina, I mean, so I don't know that we can cure racism. It's just going to always be there. But one thing we can do is choose how we feel and how we react to those kind of comments, especially if they're not threatening physically or harm or anything like that. Also, when you're traveling around the world, you do have to have a sense of humor. There are going to be things that are totally weird that are going to happen to you, and you're just got to realize that you're in a foreign country, a foreign place, a different culture, and people behave differently, and it's just something you got to get used to when you're traveling internationally. Unless you want to stay cooped up in your home country, a lot of people do. It's a matter of having some perspective relative to the culture that you're in. And in the Philippines, that's the way they do things. Now, I think that what Elayne was relating seemed a bit excessive to me. It could be how she was feeling about it. Maybe it wasn't quite as bad as she perceived it to be. I really don't know because I wasn't there, and I'm really not going to comment on it. But these things do happen. There's a lot of racism. People will notice if you're seriously overweight. In the Philippines, they're probably going to say something about it, not intending even to be offensive. It's just a part of their culture. Anyway, guys, up there's that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you join us. Feel free to leave any comments in the comments section below, as long as they're appropriate, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.